What's up, you beautiful viewers? My name is Woke One. I'm an artist from Connecticut. In my last video, I showed you guys that I had drawn Catwoman and Harley Quinn, and you guys all voted for Harley Quinn. And because of the buff paint I had, I ended up doing Catwoman. And I promised you that I would do Harley Quinn. So today, I'm going to do Harley Quinn on the wall behind me. Now, this is not going to be a one-day project. There's a lot of prep work that has to go into this piece. It obviously does not look like the day I did it. There's a lot of wear and tear on the wall that you could see, so I have to scrape it. Tonight, I'm going to paint it black. I'm going to project the new image on it because it is a huge wall. Yes, I'm projecting. I don't want to hear any crap for it. It's just saving time. And tomorrow, I think I'm going to get down here and focus on starting the character. I'm also down here with my buddy Mike, who you might remember from another video of mine. And we're going to check in with what he's doing. All right, Mike is scraping my wall. Thank you so much, Mike. Mike, what wall are you painting? All right, Mike is covering this piece up here. We did this, I believe Mike did this, last summer? Okay, beginning of last summer, Mike did that one, which is the same time I did this one. Unfortunately, this one just faded quicker. I don't know what happened with the wall. You guys remember Queso from some of my videos, and I am about to show you guys a massive wall that Mike and I did 2 years ago, last summer, beginning of last summer. Here it is, our Donkey Kong wall, our massive Donkey Kong wall. This wall took way too much time to do, but it was worth it. All right, let's get back to prepping. All right, unfortunately, this is as good as I can get it. I'm giving you guys a little bit of a close-up to really show you the weird texture. There's all this rigidness. It used to be smooth. I'm just gonna make do with it and do my best. This is always just temporary fun walls for us. If this was a client wall, I would definitely have them redo it. Eventually, we will probably talk to the owner about doing something with the wall, because you could see, I'll show you a portion up here. There is brick. There is raw brick up top that's starting to show through. And you can see that they kind of slapped something over it, and eventually it just didn't hold and started crumbling to all the pieces that are below. So let's pick up the pieces and make something really cool, hopefully. And now we wait for darkness. Darkness. Speaking of darkness, it was very dark, so it was kind of hard to see what was going on here. I'm just trying to show you guys a little bit of the process, and then when the sun comes up the next day, I'm able to see it super clear and get started. Good morning. It is a beautiful day, but a little too hot. There is a heat advisory. It is it's early and it's getting close to 90 degrees. So it's going to be a hot one today, but I'm very excited to paint. So I'm on my way to the wall now. So let's get there, get started. Here today, you can see in the daylight how everything came out, how it's all mapped in. And we'll take a look at what Mike did. Here's Mike's piece. So this is what Mike will be painting. And as you know, I'll be over here. Got my base camp all set up. So let's get started right at the top and work our way down. Mike's finally here. What up, Mike? The struggle is real. As always, you could see I am starting from the top and working my way down by just beginning with the hair, basing a bunch of browns, tans, and yellows, just basically trying to get that bleach blonde hair that she had in the movie. As far as reference goes, there's a bunch of different versions of Harley Quinn out there, so I kind of just took the movie version, added a couple little things that I saw online, and just kind of made my own version up. And to do that, I sketched it all out on my iPad using Procreate, and I'm going to show you exactly how that went right now. Okay, so the first thing I did was I dropped an old outline of my name and started readjusting it just to make sure that I was happy with it, try to find a good balance to the letters, nothing that's going to take away from the character, but something that's going to complement it well. You can see I'm using multiple colors to kind of test things out, see if I like the adjustments or not, and once I'm happy with everything, I fine line it with the technical pen. Here I'm adding a little dimension to the letters to kind of just visualize it a little better. And once I'm happy with my letters and the final structure, I can finally begin my character. Lately, I've really been enjoying using the soft pastel brush to loosely map out my characters. I feel like it's the perfect sketching tool to just kind of softly layer things in, but it's a little chunky, so I don't know. I used to do a lot of gesture drawing, and I feel like this just kind of like hits the nail on the head for me for loosely sketching, and then of course I fine-tune everything with the technical pen later. Multiple layers, just over and over, lightening the layers, and then going back in to tighten up the drawing and make it more rendered. And now it's time to bring you guys back to the wall. I was finally ready to get into some skin tones. Everything was going smooth and nothing could go wrong, right? All right, so I wanted to do some underglow, and I have this section of blue that was going to be glowing under the face, but I'm going to use the same blue in the hair over here, and it would get lost because I'm also planning on using some blue in the background, maybe to dust, but I think green's going to be a better color. I think I'm going to outline the graffiti portion in green, so I think a green glow on her face would be better than blue. So that means I got to change the blue to green, but remember, no mistakes, just more content. That turned out to be a pretty easy fix, and I actually ended up liking the green glow a lot better. And then before working on the face, I wanted to make sure that I got that mallet out of the way, the hammer that's in her hand. Here you can see I got some close-up details to show you the stencil cap in use, adding in some cracks and just little details here and there. And of course, a little smiley face that I wanted to make sure it looked like she kind of painted on there. Maybe the last thing her victims see before, they're no longer with us. Nice little smiley face. At this point, I felt like I was really cruising. Everything was just going super smooth, and I was getting some of the tedious stuff out of the way. And I happened to hear a noise from the left of me and looked over, and unfortunately, this happened. Okay, I'm only laughing because he's okay. But you can see there was an incident. You all right? Yeah. Fall down, got to get back up. But not on that ladder. All right, take yours back and buy me a new one. Oh man, I'm glad Mike was okay. Mike was using my ladder to get to the highest part of his wall, and I heard a loud crack. I looked over and I saw him falling off it. Thankfully, he was okay. I've got a new ladder since then, but yeah, I'm just glad he's all right. Safety first. But moving on from there, I just want to talk a little bit about the skin tones. So we know Harley Quinn is usually in clown makeup, very pale. I thought maybe just using grays with hints of like a grayish blue would just kind of make her look a little more maniacal, a little more like a villain. And overall, I really like the way the tones came out for this piece. Gray would have probably worked just fine, but adding that little hint of blue, I think complements the yellow in the hair very nicely. So if you're stuck on something that's just gray, maybe add a little bit of a blue shade to it and see if you like that better. And now we're getting into my favorite part, the eyes. I like to use a lot of repetition with the color throughout my work, no pun intended, but I feel like it helps lead your eye around it. So I'm using the same yellows that I used for the hair, for the eye, and then for the iris, I will be basing it with the same greens that I used for the glow. And finally, after adding all those layers to create some contrast, it is finally time to give this iris a pupil. Now that that eye is all done, the next eye is going to go super quick and very smooth because it is just going to be closed. So all I have to worry about is the blue makeup on the lid of the eye. From there, I can move down the face, and I gotta say I had a lot of fun making the makeup drip over the cheek. It just created a little bit of a flow, and you can see the curvature of the cheek because of the flow of the makeup. Now moving on to the nose, and I like to make it a little bit rosy. I think it's just another opportunity to add some color to the character. Now I'm just going to shape out the lips, add a little bit more detail into the mouth section, just make it nice and readable, some shine on the lips, and then I can move on to the bat. I always enjoy making wood grain. I think it's a really fun texture to just mess with, especially with spray paint. And at this point you can see I'm adding some more highlights to the blue on the hair. I talked about earlier how I was thinking about using blue in the background, but I ended up going with a glowing green. I think that's going to be just a better option than the blue, so that the blue kind of stands alone. And I don't know, the green kind of hints at Joker in a way, so I like that appeal of it. I want to zoom in here a second and show you guys a close-up of the stencil cap at work to really just create those nice little fine lines for the wood grain detail. And of course the tape, so that she can have a good grip on that mallet when she's swinging it around. At this point I was definitely exhausted. I was just trying to get as much of the character done as I could. It was extremely hot. Mike had already left at this point, and I just wanted to try to get the character out of the way so that the next day I could just focus on the graffiti portion. Now, moments like this, it is so important that I don't rush the character. That's always a big concern of mine. If I feel myself getting a little sloppy, if I feel like I'm rushing something, I'd rather just call it and stop for the day. But let me know if there's something you guys do to kind of push through that. You could see I always have that cooling towel on my neck to try to help cool me down. I keep a cooler there that I just kind of let the ice melt and I dip it in the ice so that I can kind of feel regenerated, honestly. But at this point, I can see that I'm into the hand. I'm excited that I'm so close to done. I figure when I'm this close, let's just finish it up, and then the next day will be so much easier. Something to look forward to. Whew. All right, I think this is where I'm leaving off today. Between the heat and the fumes, I honestly just feel like throwing up. So I'm going to call it a day. Harley Quinn is mostly done. I'm going to come back tomorrow, get into the graffiti, and I will show you where Mike left off. Mike left probably an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. So Mike was in a little more of the heat than I was. The shade is, there's not much shade down here. Right now there is, because it seems like it's about to start storming. I'm hearing some thunder. So I'm going to get out of here and pick it back up in the morning. I'll catch you guys in the AM. All right, I am on my way to the wall. I am ready to do some graffiti today. But first, I have to make a quick pit stop to deliver some of these prints that you guys were nice enough to order from the website. So if you guys want to support me more, always be sure to go to the website. That's right, be sure to check out woke1.com. Here I've got plenty of merch. I always try to update my site as much as I can, but I've got pins, stickers, I've got t-shirts, prints, and even original artwork. So be sure to take a look. If you guys haven't looked in a while, there's probably some new stuff on there. So check it out and maybe pick yourself up something. I really appreciate it. And now I'll get you back over to the wall where it's time to do some graffiti. Okay, if you guys were confused by all those lines that I drew through my piece, so was I at first. I wasn't sure if this was quite going to work out, but I recently did a piece of graffiti that had some diamonds in it, and I really like the look of it and how it came out. It's something that I used to do back in like 2010 to maybe 2015. I would do a lot of pattern throughout my pieces, so it's something that I kind of wanted to replay in my recent work now. I definitely think the grid system made it a lot easier to map out. I usually just freehand the diamond shapes, and this just went super smooth and made it way quicker. You can see in the upper left corner where I have the camera zoomed out that I also created a little bit of a blend from dark at the top to light at the bottom. I think that just added another element to the piece. And another thing I wanted to do was to create balance on both sides of the piece, on the left and the right. So with doing the diamonds on the left, of course, I had to repeat the pattern on the right side. As you can see, this is a very, very tedious process, especially when you're freehanding and not stenciling or mapping out with tape, but I definitely think it was worth it overall. Here I'm bumping up the fade that I had mentioned earlier just a little more, adding a little more light to the bottom of it, so it kind of has like a glow at the bottom, it's darker at the top, and I think that just helps add a little more contrast to it. I also thought it'd be a cool idea to add some shines to the tops of the letters with the blue that I used for some of the skin tone. This way it just kind of helps accent some of the curvature of the letters. And now it's time to bring it to life with some outlines. As always, I'm using my number one go-to, my level 1 cap. You could probably tell one of the things I like to do is work from left to right across the wall when I'm on the ground finally to do the line work. I also like to fully render each letter at a time. Not always, but for this particular piece, that was something that I wanted to do. So once the outlining was done, I would go in with highlights, and that's typically my favorite part, except for when things go wrong. You might be asking what could go wrong. Well, if you're new to the channel, let me tell you, something always goes wrong. I was shaking a can and I dropped it by accident. And once again, we have this issue. Every time, full can down, it's because I dropped it on some rocks. You guys keep up with my videos, you've definitely seen this happen in a previous video. The last time was my fault. This time was definitely an accident. I just happened to drop it on a sweet spot on the rocks. It was definitely emotionally damaging as well. So if you guys want to support me or maybe just send some love, you could always feel free to join me on Patreon. That's right, on Patreon, it's just woke.one. And there I have multiple tiers available, and any support is greatly appreciated. I'll leave a link in the description and get you right back to painting, and thank my paid Patreon members now. All right, so here's where Mike left off for today. I'm going to come back down another day when it's finished and get some final photos for you guys. Okay, quick update. I lied. I gave Mike 2 weeks to finish this, and he still never finished it. So if you're catching on to a theme here, maybe in the next video, Mike will finish this piece. Just write, Mike, finish your piece in the comments. But I just finished my piece. It is behind me, and I'm about to show you guys now. I just wanted to say, if you enjoyed this video, Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, show it to someone, one of your friends that likes comics. Let me know who your favorite comic character is in the comments. And without further ado, here it is, the final product. Hey, stick around. Let's hang out. Maybe watch a playlist or something. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to like it. I'll catch you guys on the next one.